back, right? No, thank you, because I knew you were the person that would know.
All right, we'll call the Animal Services Committee meeting to order for November 19th. Do a roll call, Christie.
Do that between family and camera.
Desart, here, Echo, Garcia,
Here.
Krajewski,
Here.
Rutledge.
Here.
Yeah.
All right, we have a quorum. Anybody sign in for public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, Chairman's remarks, remember to start, I was just talking, we just finished up a couple weeks ago with a little small event. It was up in Itasca called the Happy Hour. And it was a nice event. Remember Cahill? It was a nice event and I think it was about 75, 80 people there and they had the van and showing off some of the animals, but so good job for the foundation putting that on. They also introduced the calendars, which are now for sale for this coming year, 2025.
Yeah.
So you can get them for $20. These, at the gala last year, they auctioned off all the pages, or the months, so people could buy a month to put their animal on there.
Oh.
How do we buy them? Go online?
You could do it online, or we also have them at the shelter.
Yeah.
$20 at the shelter. They sold some at that night, gala, but they're selling those now. I think it's 25 if you have it shipped to you, 20 if you pick it up at the
What a
shelter.
great
Did they give you
idea.
pictures too, the people, or?
So we had a very generous volunteer. He's a professional photographer. He donated his time and did professional photo shoots for every winner. And then he also did, he and his wife did the layout for the calendar. I mean, they put a lot of work into it, but they are
Photos are
professional
Peanut
photos.
butter.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're gorgeous photos. He's did a phenomenal job.
And so that's gonna become a yearly thing now. They did that years ago, but now we're bringing it back.
Cats, man, that's tough.
This is probably the cheapest one for the gala people next year that's coming up. Speaking of gala, it's locked in for this year, April 25th. And it's at the Lyle Sheridan. It's a Friday night. And so again, they'll be auctioning off the months. I think they'll go for a lot more this time around. If you have a particular month and an animal, feel free to bid at that auction. But again, it's April 25th, 2025. Laura and the foundation coordinator and the foundation itself are gonna be working on getting pricing together and setting the goal. But they did lock the venue in for very cheap. In fact, it's free, the venue and the food.
Same
that costs.
venue.
Very cheap.
No, it's at the Sheridan and Lyle. And they have allowed to bring anything in as far as no corkages fees like last year, so they can bring in donated alcohol, beer,
Nice.
wine.
Okay,
So
cool.
they'll be working on getting those things donated. They even offered if they can't get anything donated, that they would give the names of their vendors to talk to also to help, so. And the owner of the hotel said he would buy a couple of tables for the event too.
Nice.
So that's all locked in, so we'll be moving forward on that. And the board also just added a few new board members. I think there's a couple more going to join the foundation board. Karen Kelly, she just joined the board, so I don't think she volunteers with you at Donata.
I don't see her very often, but
I think she rolled off of the helping the horses now and.
did she? Oh, now
Yeah.
she's on to the,
She's
okay.
moving on to.
No, I saw her
Helping
at
the
Fall
shelter.
Fest. That's the last time I've seen her.
All right, moving on to minutes, if we get a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
24-3056, any corrections, changes, additions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and then move on to procurement requisition, a motion for 24-3057.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, any questions on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. I get a motion for 24-3058.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. If I get a motion for ASP 0002-24.
So moved.
Second?
Questions on this one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. And last on procurement, can I get a motion for ASP 0003-24?
So moved. Second.
Question about this? Can we
Sure.
Talk about it? Tell me about this.
Mavron?
Yeah.
So they're the company that custom outfits our vehicles with all of the animal cages.
Okay.
We have retired 2 of our old animal control vans, and we've already purchased, we have possession of 2 new transit vans. But there's the whole outfitting of the inside that has to happen. So this is to send those to get the cages installed.
And that's for 2.
This is for 2 vehicles, correct?
So when the old vehicles were retired, did you trade them in for
So they're not safe to drive. Unfortunately, it wasn't even just a matter
You ever
of.
watch Fred Flintstone? So seriously, there was no
Yeah.
floorboards in there.
Oh,
The
wow.
bottom, oh yeah, they've actually, we were driving one of them up until like 2 weeks ago and DOT said,
Oh,
no,
no
we gotta.
floorboards?
So the problem is
Rust.
the rust underneath.
Oh.
So my understanding is DOT just sends them to auction and they keep whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, they were, also, we had some supply chain issues because they had to buy Fords, right?
I believe that was the case. I think
Because the
we have to buy
mechanics can only work on
Fords, yeah.
Fords and Fords wasn't making them anymore and it took us a while. I'm not sure why we couldn't do the
Yeah.
van, but DOT had to be Fords and there was just a backup. So it took us a while to get these vans.
So we do still have two more vehicles that, or sorry, one more vehicle that will need to be replaced. And part of our challenge has been, since the pandemic, vehicle procurement has been tough. And then also vehicle outfitting has been tough. So Mavron is very backlogged right now. I don't even know when they're gonna get us in for production yet. It'll be sometime next year.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Move on to our ordinance amendment, ASO, get a motion for that, ASO 0002-24.
Second.
Any questions or comments on this one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And last, our budget transfers. Need a motion for 24-3054.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Administrative update, Laura.
Yeah, so population is under 150, which is phenomenal.
Yay.
I ran a report yesterday, 138 animals. We're still seeing a long length of stay, especially with our small animals. Guinea pigs average length of stay is 91 days. Rabbits have been 74 and cats and dogs have been in the 40s. In fact, with cats, we're even approaching almost 50 days average length of stay. We're running some promotions though right now. We're hoping to get some animals out of moving into the addition next week. So we're doing 50% off all adoption fees. Plus, if you adopt a senior pet, you get a month worth of free food. So anybody wants to promote that, we've got some social out there that you could reshare. Next on is to talk about is the move. So we are moving into the new addition next week. We're going to be communicating to the public that we're closed all week. So Monday, we're building cat kennels and moving all of the cats, the guinea pigs, the rabbits. Tuesday is the first people move day. And then Wednesday is the kind of last settling in day before then everybody's off for the Thanksgiving holiday. We'll be reopening with our new Manchester address that Saturday, November 30th. So that's very exciting. So we're going to have some social going out. We'll do an email. I've got some volunteers who are going to be stationed at the 120 entrance side while we're doing that move for those couple days, because we know that business is still going to happen even though we're communicating that we're closed. But we're excited to have people into the new space, cats, guinea pigs, rabbits. They'll be all set up in their permanent spots. Dogs, we're going to be keeping, we talked about going to Lombard Vet as a temporary solution during the kennel renovation piece of it. That has been challenging to execute. So instead, what we're going to be doing is postponing the kennel renovation piece till the end of the project. We're going to keep dogs on site. We're still going to be communicating that we want to keep our intake low. So hoping that our other local humane societies can take as many owner surrendered pets as possible so that we're really reserving our kennel space for the strays.
How's the coordination been going with like Adopt Naperville, West Suburban, Hinsdale as far as doing that?
Yeah, actually, Hinsdale's been phenomenal. They've made some changes to their intake policies and they've pulled a lot of animals from us within the last couple of weeks. We've seen them coming to us for cats, dogs. We helped each other out with a rabbit situation. We're going into some cooler weather months, so usually kitten season slows down. We're hopeful that maybe more of our partners can continue pulling from us.
Are any of them Naperville adopted? Are they going down south, pulling puppies?
I don't know if they're going down
Still doing
south.
that? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
A lot of them will go down and grab the puppies from the mills down and
Mhm.
sit down southern states and bring them up here.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of communication recently about Chicago Animal Care and Control's challenges with their population. So we are seeing a lot of rescue partners really focus on Chicago. I mean, a lot of rescue partners have focused on Chicago because it is a high need area. And I think we do such a great job here in DuPage that sometimes there's this false sense of, well, they don't need us. We do still need them. So we're always reaching out to, communicating with the rescue community. We're always trying to build our own foster program too, so that we're not always relying on our rescue partners, because we know that there's a lot of need out there.
What does Cook do? Does Cook send them to Chicago?
So Cook County, when they did their shelter grant program a couple of years ago, helped build the new South Suburban Humane Society shelter, and they
Because Cook does
also,
not have a animal shelter.
right.
County.
And then
The city
they,
of Chicago has
No.
one, and yeah, Cook does not, so they use area shelters. Hence why like Schaumburg sent us rabbits when the police picked them up there,
Yeah.
because there's nowhere to move them, so they have to coordinate with local.
so for example, Elk Grove Village, there's like a tiny sliver that's DuPage, but the majority of it's Cook, but they don't have a place to send animals, so they drive all the way to us, no matter if it was found in DuPage jurisdiction or Cook jurisdiction. But Cook gave money to South Suburban Humane Society to build their new shelter, and then they also funded a big portion of Evanston Animal Shelter's new shelter project. And I don't know what the details of those agreements were, but I do know that they're diverting animals to those areas because they put a significant amount of financial resources into building new facilities, so. So yeah, in Cook, a lot of the municipalities are just left to kind of figure it out further, on their own, which has been tough because when they're out more towards the DuPage side, we tend to be
They
their
tend to
next
come to us.
solution, so.
Has Kane gotten any better with their scheduling for surrenders? Because they were like 3 months out,
Yeah,
and they would send them to us. too.
everybody does try to schedule pretty far out. I will say we've been fairly successful though, and our communication this year has always been, please try to divert as much as possible because of the construction project. And I did run some numbers. Our intake is down. So year to date, we've taken in 1,713 animals. And this same period, January to November 18th, we took in 2,047. So we're down by over 300 animal intake,
Is
which,
Kane, but we've seen a reduction in Kane coming this way.
yeah, I feel like we haven't seen as many King County calls. We had a lot there for a while.
What do you attribute the decrease to?
I think it's just, I think it's been our communication trying to divert to other shelters this year just because of the construction project. Yeah, we're really grateful. Anti-cruelty in Chicago has been phenomenal. They try to practice a lot of open admission policies. So, yeah.
I know in Kane, I had a good experience with animal health shelters, so
Yeah.
they're really good.
Yeah, there is quite a few animal shelters in that area, and we're always hopeful that they're helping us out. The other good thing, though, is I ran a couple numbers on the animal control side. Our bite cases are down 7%, same time over last year, and our dangerous dog declarations are also down. So the same time last year, we declared 50 dogs dangerous. This year, we're 32. So,
And how does that figure? I mean,
we like to try to think we can take credit for a lot of the outreach that we do. We do a lot of social media and emails about public safety with animals, how to safely interact with your animals. Every time we get a bite situation, we have bite prevention forms that we send out in the mail with their quarantine letters. When we do have a bite situation, we're taking that opportunity to really counsel that pet owner on ways that they can safely maintain their animal so that we're hopeful that that doesn't happen again. If we have a dog that's truly dangerous, killed another dog, really severely hurt another person, we've been offering humane euthanasia services if that's something that they can't afford to do with their own vet. So we're always trying to find ways that we can work with a pet owner. Our goal is always to let people keep their pets,
Yeah.
right? But help them understand how they can safely maintain them. So.
Do you have a breakout of the bites as far as the degree of
So our database doesn't score a bite case. If you're asking about like, there is what's called the Dunbar bite score that we can say like, how severe was that situation, but we don't track that in a
go back
report
to when we
form.
first were starting this, and we had one of the dogs that was put down during training, but it was because it was a 10-month-old puppy shepherd that jumped up and nipped the person on the
Oh,
lead. It wasn't an aggressive bite because they got the degree of
Yeah.
bites. So I was
That
just
was
curious.
put down?
So we talk about.
Yeah, that was whole impetus on one of the reasons they started putting these dogs down, why this whole committee was formed. But yes, it was,
Oh.
you know, we had to go back and forth, oh, it bit somebody, and then Karen Romano, myself, Boris, were like, okay, went back to Kuklitz, it's like, okay, yeah, it was a 10-month-old puppy during training in our Orange Paws, and it had jumped up, because they were holding the leash up there, and it bit the person, but it was a puppy, so.
So there's a lot, and there's a lot of different things that we look at when we're talking about, is an animal going to be declared dangerous? The severity of the bite, the degree to which maybe it was difficult to separate that animal from the bite
Yeah, like a
situation.
child that bites it because it walked up and pulled the dog's tail, and it turns
Was
and
it
bites it,
provoked?
so.
Right.
Yeah.
There's-
Son got bit in the face, hugging a dog.
There's a whole bunch of
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that we
factors in
consider.
there that
Yeah.
they look at, so you can see the degree of the, I mean, if it's an
Right.
aggressive dog, then yes, it's, but they score the bite and how it happened, and.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious. if
I
we
can't
do
run a
that.
report by that. I mean, we
I was just curious
document all
if
those
we-
details, but.
Sure, I'm sure when you do the investigation,
Yeah.
you're looking at that, but I was just wondering for our statistic purposes.
Yeah, we do track, you know, what kind of bites occurred. So was it animal to human? Was it animal to an adult, animal to a juvenile? Was it animal to animal? Was it wildlife to person? We can sort by that kind of information, which is nice. But,
And the other issue we run into is the dog on dog bites, because in order to declare it dangerous, right? Because we've had that come up in Downers Grove,
Yeah.
West Chicago, where we can't, the state statute allows, what, is it 3 dog on dogs before it can be declared dangerous?
well, 3 dangerous declarations. On the 3rd dangerous investigation, you can also open up a vicious investigation simultaneously.
And that's when it's a
But,
dog
yeah.
on dog, but we get those calls a lot. Towns can put their own, home rule towns can put their own rules in. But we've had a couple instances where people have asked us, to declare it dangerous, but we can't, dog on dog.
We can declare dangerous dog to dog. Declaring vicious is tough. Until we
They
get the
got the
3,
definition
yeah.
on vicious then.
Yeah.
Because that incident happened in West Chicago, Downers Grove, I know
I actually have a unique one right now. We have a cat that keeps attacking the small dog next door. And there's nothing in the Animal Control Act about declaring a cat dangerous, so.
Oh, funny.
I
Well,
mean,
and
they
that's
act, I know we laugh because you think a cat, but it's
Oh, they're
like, the
bad.
dog has actually been pretty severely injured now twice. And there's nothing in the ordinance that allows any type of, now we can talk to that pet owner about, you know, making sure you maintain your pet on your property and not let that cat go next door, but it's been an issue, and they've caught it on camera too, and it's a pretty severe attack.
I
Yeah.
remember years
Yeah.
ago, I saw a dog corner a cat on a porch, and it was an open rail, so I could see what happened. This was a little bitty cat, and its feet never touched the ground. It just kept pouncing off of this poor dog's face, and he finally was like, "Arr, arr, arr," ran away, but
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, do not mess with
Yeah,
cats.
but that's one that, I mean, and the family with the dog was upset that there could be no declaration about the cat, but
Dogs in their
the law
yard.
doesn't allow for
There's
that,
no
so.
municipal code on that.
Yeah. Well, we did incur, I think it was an in-town jurisdiction, and, you know, they could cite the cat owner for cat at large, you know, and
Yeah, that's where,
biting,
Funny, I'm
but,
sorry.
yeah, we couldn't declare it.
that's where an in-town jurisdiction like Elmhurst or Downers, whatever, it's home rule, they could put in ordinance and to do
Sure.
that, but we have to follow the state.
Yeah, so,
Our vetting
We
needs,
love-
how are those going?
yes, so we are still doing fine with our vet needs. We've got a couple of vets that come into the shelter to do animals in-house. We were sending animals to Spay, Illinois, Lombard Vet, Amberleaf, like a couple different local veterinarians that were helping us out. But as our population is starting to decrease, our needs to do that have also decreased, which is nice, so.
Have we posted?
We do have, we do have the position posted, and we also are hiring for an animal control officer, so hopefully we start interviews for that in the next week or so as well.
We need moving help.
I appreciate that, so I think we're okay.
Okay.
One of the things I've really encouraged staff to do is this is a good opportunity to take a look at what you have, and do you really need to move it to the new space? So even though, we're moving into this nice, new, beautiful space, we're still not increasing our capacity to store things because they start renovation on the existing building. So And this really should be an opportunity to say, let's get organized. What do you really need? Try to maintain a clean desk policy as much as possible.
Ooh, I'd have a problem with that.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
Well,
We're working on it. Any other questions?
reach out if, you know,
Yeah,
if
I
you've got
appreciate
a
that.
heavy day.
Yeah,
It's not a Tuesday.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions for Laura?
One quick question. It seems like, watching your post that a lot of, animals are being surrendered right now. Are you seeing more of that or is it just what's catching my eye?
So nationwide, owner surrenders have, like, the need to surrender pets has gone up since.
Is it the COVID
This year,
release
and
because of the?
I think it's been a couple of things. I think there's a lot of people that have been struggling. Cost of living has increased, which means the cost of pet care has increased, or if you're moving, it's much harder to find pet-friendly housing, or if you do find pet-friendly housing, the deposits are expensive, the monthly
Right.
rent is expensive. And
Some of them
I,
are just so old, you just feel so bad.
so we, so affordable vet care has definitely been a challenge for a lot of people. So when we were getting animals in, we're noticing, and this has been a problem for a while though, or, dental disease, matting, masses that just haven't been looked at. There's only a handful of low-cost veterinary resources in our area. I think we have a fair amount of low-cost spay neuter resources, but when it comes to further diagnostics, other wellness, more critical surgical needs, there's not a lot of choices. And we also see some pet owners aren't establishing vet relationships. So then when there is a problem, if you don't have an established vet relationship, where are you going? You're going to the emergency room. It's no different than human healthcare, right? Like if you don't have,
And I think, was it your thoughts, once we get into the new building, you get the new vet, and to looking at a second vet and then potentially offering the low-cost vetting services, but also I think you focused on dental. Just because, I mean, that's a major issue.
And it causes a lot of health issues.
And yeah, it does.
It
It's
does,
not, they
yeah.
stop eating and people think they're sick and but just doing that, because like you said, there's a lot of low-cost spay and neuter, but not the low-cost.
correct, yeah. One of the things I think we benefit from looking into is how we can offer some low-cost wellness services to the public in areas that aren't already those needs aren't being serviced, right? Spay Illinois, who is about to move into their new facility in Naperville, and they're also rebranding because they do more than just spay neuter. They're going to be called Pause for a Cause Vet Care. They've got a model where they've been providing low-cost care to pets. South Suburban Humane Society has a low-cost model, and they're still profitable.
Is that the
So,
place you and I visited? What's that place?
when did we go?
That big warehouse? Where they were,
Illinois is in Lyle.
They're in Lyle in a
it's
storefront.
like in Aurora maybe?
Oh, that's different. No, I know where you're talking about. That's in Aurora. I don't know what their model's gonna be. I don't know if it'll be low cost. I know they've been trying to support it's called All Pets Wellness Center. They've been trying to support the rescue community with more vet stuff, but they still haven't they haven't opened up for anything other than boarding right now. But their vision in Aurora, it's, Bill County, is that Bill County there that we were in?
Well, definitely not Will. It
It's
may have been Kane.
Kane, it's not DuPage.
Okay, that was Kane.
But that new business owner is talking about offering full medical rehab. So I don't know. There are a lot of vet resources popping up. I mean, you can find a vet every couple of blocks, it seems like. But then the question is, can you afford that?
Right.
Still seeing the consolidation, the big corporate buying the
Yes.
vet.
Yes.
So my question is, do the people on the cover pay more for their?
So we auctioned that off at the live portion of our
Oh,
auction,
gotcha.
and then the rest of the months were all silent auctions.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
yes, yeah. And what a
Adorable
phenomenal
picture.
photo for a cover too. Yeah,
love
no, thank you to Zach Winnie. He is the photographer that donated his time. I mean, he had to go
Animals are
do
tough.
13 different photo shoots
Yeah.
with
And
these
go
pet
through-
owners.
They did great.
and-
Then go through the
I only-
pictures with the owner, which one they like.
I mean,
and-
yeah.
I
Yes,
only
and then
saw
edit
one
them.
animal that had to have some peanut butter on there.
Oh, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
bribery. Yeah. No, it was very generous of him to do that for us.
Turned out great.
Yep,
Great.
it
We should
is.
probably have some up at the front desk up there so people can buy.
Oh, yeah, I can bring some up.
Bring
if,
them up
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, are we gonna do like a social media thing so people know
We,
they're available?
we have been, we'll do some more,
Okay, I
yeah.
haven't seen it,
This
okay.
trick, social media call it the fast moving river. If you don't see it now, it's the
It's
next thing
close.
comes.
I
and it's
know.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah, next year we're talking about, because you guys get your mail and people throw the calendars in there around
Mhm.
Christmas time, but maybe offer next year for companies if they wanna, whether put their little name down here or whatever, but have them
Yeah.
posted that they can give out, because we get a ton of calendars just as elected officials.
Yeah.
I would encourage everybody to, if you don't already follow, like subscribe to the county's animal services one,
Mhm.
also subscribe to DuPage Animal Friends, because they
Yeah.
do separate communications too.
How did they,
do.
did
Yeah, yeah.
they do okay with the, Blue Malnati's thing last week?
I got pizza the
I got
night.
I got-
And I ran into one
I
of
got
our
1, 2,
fosters
3,
who
I
was
got-
getting pizza. She was picking up her pizza,
got 4.
so.
Okay, cool.
You got 4 pizzas?
Yeah, I ordered 4.
You can
For
get them
people that-
frozen,
Yeah,
save 'em for
yeah.
later.
It was a fundraiser. No, it was for, I got them for people in my office.
That's nice.
So,
Yeah, I
At
think they're
least at
gonna be
this
doing
table
more
it went
restaurant
okay.
give backs. If you follow their social and their email, they're usually sending a lot of that information out. It doesn't necessarily come from the shelter
Yeah.
side as much as they promote it on their end. So.
It's still warm by the time I get to Downers Grove.
Okay.
All right, any old business and new business? Objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, Laura.